guys, it's MJ from IUNPLUG. I feel really inspired these last few days, just sharing lots, just because I randomly find myself in front of the old phone and I'm doing something or something's happening where I'm like, hey, I could share this. This could be useful information for people. And you guys know that back last year, September, October 2018, Katie Finch and I launched Zenful Zero Waste. It was the first of 4 of our Be the Change online courses, which are 8-week online courses to help you, encourage you, and support you in making these very practical life changes, including going zero waste. Now, Katie and I call it Zenful Zero Waste because we're aware that it can be pretty overwhelming, and to opt for self-love, self-compassion, self-care, self-respect, and all that kind of stuff, rather than getting all like crazy, hardcore stressed out and beating yourself up if you fail at zero waste. So I often share with you guys when I fail or like when I fall off the zero waste wagon, which is often which is just being legit. So the reason I wanted to go live specifically was I yesterday did a gratitude share because I was being a little bit superficially egotistical or whatever about some cool poncho that I inherited from my mom. Actually, I just kind of stole it from a closet one time, and yeah. Anyway, so I just was up here, and you guys know I do online coaching sessions, and I also do online yoga sessions with people. So I was just doing that, and my client was randomly like, hey, cool t-shirt. And I was like, hey, it's from eBay, because I basically buy all of my clothes secondhand. So I only buy like secondhand eBay stuff, or you guys also know that I volunteer some of my time at a local charity shop, North Devon Hospice it's called. So it's a hospice charity, and it has like a clothing charity shop, which is usually where I take all of my stuff when I'm ready to kind of do a clear out. And then pretty much seasonally, so 3 or 4 times a year, when there's a turn of the season, I tend to like cleanse some items that I no longer resonate with, and then I have a little ship shops on eBay to find some funky clothes that like my intuition is like, hey, that is like gonna make you feel fantastic. And then that's also I guess when I talk about a bit of your personal choices around fashion and design and designing your spaces and like designing your self space, which is like your body, in the spirituality and in the veganism, the zero waste stuff really aligns because you're not just buying off of like the high street, as in you're not buying factory made clothes, which are usually slave labor and not always ethically sourced products and materials. You're, instead of buying into that, which is not great, you're supporting independent people, you're supporting independent like charity shops or independent people who are making stuff, right? So the zero waste stuff is a really nice basically way to be, but then it also helps, I believe anyway, it helps us to become more authentic because it helps us get to know like your own personal style. And since 2012, I've been doing conscious secondhand, I guess, zero waste shopping. I've been not buying new stuff since 2012, and I have to say that as somebody who's never been into fashion, again, when I had my early awakenings, I did the whole, like, I basically had a backpack. Like, that's all the worldly possessions I had for pretty much like 10 years of my life. I like refused to accumulate stuff, and yeah, and to the point of, I think I limited my joy. And so flip it round, where I then made a conscious effort to live my life totally and in my integrity and in unity and to pioneer a business. It's like, what now, 7 years of doing all this eBay, blah, 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 blah. And I'm a happier, more joyful human being. I would say that my personal fashion sense is more unique, probably not everybody's favorite, but like, yeah, it's unique to me, and I like feeling confident, being able to like wear stuff that I like and that I feel good in, and that is also unique, as in my random like, and some of my clients are like, I obviously, like people I work with, I tend to really also like make an appreciation for her, as in like I also am like, you're cool, like we should definitely hang out more. And so I respect their personal style. Some of them are like art collectors, some of them are actually like designers and those kinds of people. And so when they're like, hey, cool top, I'm like, hey, thanks. You know, and because it's totally like, you know, I saw it on an eBay picture and was like, I think that would look good. Now I'm like, hey guys, look at my t-shirt. Isn't it funky? Isn't it cool? Isn't it fresh? And I guess that's just a thing of, one, you're doing something fantastic for the planet by buying something that's not factory produced and made by slave labor and unethical or like materials, but you're also just being a more authentic human being. And yes, Katie Juby, all for that. You're being a more authentic human being, and then you're also potentially tapping into like an untapped creative source, because again, I like denied all that shit and even went the other way with like all the makeup and blah, blah, blah. And then I've kind of found this middle ground of like, wait a minute, can it all just be this like joyful self-expression? Can it all just be an extension of the joy and the love that I feel for life itself, rather than some limiting burden or some financial burden or, you know, what, something else, you know, right? And so it's like, express yourself, you buy stuff that you love and that supports independent, just normal people like me and you, rather than just sort of being like a robot on the high street buying what the big corporation is telling you to buy and then just looking like everybody else when you go out. You know, it's like, be you. I'm a plain Jane. But like, even that, like, I bet the thing is, you guys get this as well, of like, don't you just see the beauty in everyone and everything? You know what I mean? Like the truth, like the real truth nugget of like the essence, like the quintessence of the human or the creature, whatever it might be. When you penetrate all the veils and see the divine spark, you're just like, that's the only truth. Nothing else actually fucking matters. So that's why all this stuff is actually liberating. Once you get through enough of the chaos and like the darkness and like the dark night of the soul and like the eventually you start to tap these little like, hey, I can just be myself. And like, I love it. I'm a weirdo in hiding. I'm like, yes, rise the weirdos of love. And I guess that's like probably another just par for the course, isn't it? And I'm like, it's only you guys that get this loveliness. I'm like, otherwise I just go out into the world and be like a normal human. And then if people saw this, they'd be like, wow, that girl's totally crazy. Fantastic. Leah Roberts, there is no plain Jane. Everyone is unique, even in a potato sack. Truth. It's just straight up truth. And I agree completely. But I also know what you mean about like, and then how we have different phases of how our own self-perception is. And I think that's randomly like a theme of the energies right now of like, yeah, where honestly, someone who thinks of themselves as plain Jane, another one would be like, the stunning beauty of grace. Because there's something about the UK. In the UK here, there's an expression of like the English rose. Now, one could almost put that in the category of like, there's this plain simplicity, but it is stunningly and quite translucency beautiful. I've just made up a bunch of words, but you guys know the feelings that I'm putting out there as far as like, it's in the old artwork as well, isn't it? Anywho, look at you guys. When you guys show up like this, I just blab on for England or for life. You do understand what I mean, right? You guys feel the vibration. It's the heart love. It's the fact that the beauty true of essence is like within us all. And it's something that sparkles and radiates from within. And at the same time, what I've noticed is like, you can basically yoke that yoga yoke that like sparkle from within and like apply it and extend it to pretty much everything you do in every area of your life. You can create a business from it. You can accumulate lovely things from it. You can share those lovely things. You can just be in a benevolent continual exchange with life and be like, ah! It's like embracing the weirdo within totally pays off. Because and then every part of your life reflects that, but you're not scared of it. You're like, you're my friend, a fellow weirdo, yay! Whereas before, like the fellow weirdo vibration was like, oh no, you know. But like we're learning, and the awareness is like expanding, and it's helping us to ground the knowingness so that we can be more discerning and navigate this beautiful unfolding from this more focused place in our heart field. And that to me is just the glory of the kingdom, and we're all a part of it. And I'm so thankful for you guys showing up here, because you just always bring me so much upliftment and joy, and like I just feel like I just want to skip off. I just want to skip off on my merry way and have like, I'll probably have like a nap, but like you know what I mean? I'm like, I just want to go like frolic about in my flat for a little bit, probably like have a little mooch in the mirror and like admire my lovely new t-shirt, and then yeah, and then I'll probably be like, bosh, oh, time for a snooze, and then I'm gonna have a nap. Okay, fine, you guys, fine. You can call me bonkers, but I is just a reflection of you in this moment. So I just reflect your bonkersness, you guys. I'm here in service. So that is all. But I agree with you. Like, I totally agree that it is pure bonker sass over here. It's just playfulness, because I'm not really too attached to anything outside of the elixir that is eternal. So I'm like, let's play there and have some cray fun time, right? This is so true. Fun. See, you guys do it to me. You guys do it to me. They're like, I just have like roll around like a little bunny. But like, and this is where people like legit, they're like, you are bonkers. And I'm like, yeah, but do you remember what it was like just to be little and play? I'm like, it's just play, guys. It's like in my yoga practice. It's not like I'm like, okay, everybody, so to do a handstand, you need to put your hand, however, don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing this, because the anatomical precision of understanding what's going on is valid. So trust. I've met people who are more anatomically technical when it comes to performing physical asana. I'm just not one of those teachers, and I never pretend to be. So I'm somebody who's like, hey guys, let's practice doing handstands. Let's just see what happens. Woo! Like literally, that's it. Just put your hands, and then like, yay! And then it's like, sometimes when you just make it playful, people's ego go away, and then they just play, and then they're like, oh my God, I just stared at my hands. And I'm like, see? When we lighten up, when we just play, because like when we're little, we just play. And we do a whole bunch of crazy shit that we do in yoga. Like when you play, you find kids just being like, yeah, like doing a whole bunch of crazy shit. And you're like, yeah. So really, in essence, the yoga asana to me is like, try to remember what it's like to not have all these weird rules around being a human, and just be like, what does this feel like? What does that feel like? Oh my God, oh, and here's the only real rule. When you're moving around, if you can't breathe, stop. Like, if you're doing something that you're like, ah! That's your body's cue. Really, you want to just not get to that point. You want to be able to breathe steady. But even if you're doing something that shortens your breath, in yoga senses, that's like, slow down, back off, chill out, move around, play, see what happens. What do you do like this? And what do you do like this? And then you will notice yourself getting lighter and being generally a little bit more playful and joyful and enjoying life. And you might trigger the shit out of people, because people are like, how dare you? How dare you be such a joyful human? And you're like, well, hey, I invite you to join me over here, but hey ho, you're allowed to stay in your misery as well. But also, I gotta say, I have love and compassion for even all of the misery, because like I get like that too sometimes. I'm like, what is life? Why don't more people care? And then I'm like, but that's my choice. I have to continue to empower my vision to see a whole of humanity woke as fuck. Like giving a shaz and like really caring about enjoying life and about all of humans being able to have access to the basic things. Again, as I bring it back to pure seriousness of the heart, love, vibrashe, all of this playful stuff, all of this being absolute silliness, it comes from a place of like, as a humanity, we can uplift ourselves, as in poverty, fear, war, all of that doesn't need to exist here. Straight up. I know people are like, you're too idealistic. No. It's like pure knowingness of like, this humanity is gonna shift. The paradigm shift is like a divine cosmic plan that's balancing out the negativity. It's not that there won't be challenge, it's just that there's not going to be this like dark web. We're just up leveling it so that the majority, if not all humans, are going to have clean water, food, shelter, access to stuff, education, meditation, learning. It's like that every human, every being deserves that access. Do we not agree? And then we just have a more even playing field. And it's like, if you want to go create more stuff, go create more stuff. If you don't. But don't go raining on my parade. Oh my God. There, you guys. Honestly, I need to go now because I am just like, what was the word that you guys used? Cray. This channel is for the cray people that care a lot about the heart, love, vibrashe, and just want to see a much more harmonious world, because like because this is the thing of the empath, like the true sensitive empath. It's like all of us can agree that from the moment of our own cognizance of being aware of like interrelating with this world, that violence and like greed and all that was so freaking painful that it really came down to a point of like, the only reason I can live here is if I know that this humanity can change. Because violence and like killing one another and killing innocent creatures and all that doesn't make sense to my heart. It like, so it's like the only way that I could continue to live on this planet was to be like, come on guys, we love each other, right? Like, we don't want to keep killing each other for oil. Come on. Bullshit. You know, and we can forgive ourselves. All of us are responsible, and therefore all of us can forgive one another. And it's just this little thing that happens in your heart. It doesn't have to be a grand thing. It's just something profound inside. Oh, look, I got all serious and a little emotion. But it's because there's so much love. And again, this is just a small broadcast for a random girl who grew up in a small town in Canada and, yeah, has just lived a random life. Leah, you cute. You cute too. I gotta go too. Leah, that's perfect timing, my friend. I love you guys so much. I have, like, my heart's a little bit gooey and overflowing right now. But I have so much love, and I'm so appreciative of your presence, of your love, and just your kindness and everything. Like, I have so much appreciation for it, because you guys reflect back that, like, it's okay. It's all okay. We're all okay. And, like, there's so much love, you know? Anywho, that's it. I go now. I love you guys. Have a great